It was past midnight when I decided to check on my son, Alex. Something had been bothering me for days, a feeling I couldn't shake, a whisper of unease. When I pushed open his bedroom door, my heart dropped. The room was empty. His bed was neatly made, his favorite toys untouched, and his laptop sitting quietly on the desk. Nothing seemed out of place, yet something felt wrong. My gut screamed danger. I walked slowly, scanning the room. That's when I noticed it, a shadow shifting in the corner. I froze. Whoever it was, they were hiding, watching me. My pulse raced and a chill ran down my spine. The phone rang suddenly. It was an unknown number. Hesitant, I answered. A distorted voice whispered, "Don't move. Don't turn around." Then the line went dead. I knew immediately Alex wasn't here. Someone had taken him or was toying with me. Panic gripped me, but I forced myself to think. I had to find him. Whoever was watching me had to be stopped before it was too late. The next morning, I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the house made me jump. Every flicker of light felt like a warning. I needed answers. I retraced my steps in Alex's room. That's when I noticed small details I had missed before. A footprint on the carpet near the closet, slightly scuffed edges of the dresser, and faint fingerprints on the window. Whoever had been in my son's room had been careful, but not careful enough. I called the police, but they were skeptical. "Maybe he just left quietly, ma'am," the officer said, but I knew Alex wouldn't leave without telling me. I decided to investigate on my own. I reviewed his computer files and noticed a series of deleted messages. With a bit of technical help, I recovered them. They were from someone calling themselves Watcher. The messages were cryptic. "I see everything. Don't trust anyone." The realization hit me hard. This wasn't random. Someone had been monitoring my son, and now me. I could feel their eyes on me even when I was alone. That night, I decided to stay awake in Alex's room, hiding in the shadows. Every creak of the floorboard, every whisper of the wind made my heart race. I needed to see who or what was watching. Around 2 a.m., I saw movement near the window. A figure stepped out of the darkness, barely visible in the moonlight. My breath caught. I couldn't see their face, but I knew this was the person who had been leaving the messages. I whispered, "Who are you? What have you done with my son?" The figure didn't answer. Instead, a chilling laugh echoed through the room, and they vanished as quickly as they appeared. My hands shook uncontrollably. I knew Alex was alive, but they were keeping him somewhere. The next morning, I noticed something on the desk, a small note written in shaky handwriting. "Look where you least expect. The truth is closer than you think." I felt both dread and determination. Whoever this watcher was, they wanted me to follow their game, and I would. I had to find my son before it was too late. The note from last night haunted me. Look where you least expect. I examined Alex's room carefully, searching for hidden compartments, loose floorboards, or anything unusual. That's when I noticed a small vent near the closet, too high for Alex to reach. Inside, there was a folded piece of paper. It read, "The place you fear is the place you will find him. Follow the path of the shadows." Fear and hope twisted inside me. I had no idea what this meant, but I couldn't ignore it. I grabbed my coat, flashlight in hand, and started following the streets near our home, retracing Alex's usual routes. I noticed more signs, subtle clues left for me. A backpack left on a park bench, a toy truck by the street corner, and footprints leading toward the old warehouse district. Someone was deliberately guiding me, taunting me, but also helping me. As I approached the abandoned warehouses, the air felt colder, the shadows longer. I could feel I was close. Every instinct screamed danger, yet I knew I had to follow the trail if I wanted to save Alex. The warehouse loomed in front of me, dark and foreboding. My flashlight flickered as I stepped inside, the sound of my boots echoing through the empty space. Shadows danced along the walls, and every corner seemed alive with hidden threats. I called out, "Alex, it's Mom! Where are you?" No answer, only the distant sound of footsteps that weren't mine. My heart raced. I followed the noise, each step heavier than the last. Then, in the far corner, I saw him, Alex, sitting on the floor, frightened but unharmed. Before I could rush to him, a figure emerged from the shadows. The Watcher. It was someone I never suspected. My neighbor. Someone I had trusted for years. His eyes glinted with a strange satisfaction. "You shouldn't have come here," he said, his voice cold. I stayed calm, summoning every ounce of courage. "Why are you doing this? Why my son?" He smiled cruelly. "I wanted to prove that you weren't paying attention, that you could be manipulated." My anger surged. "You will never control me or my son." I grabbed Alex's hand, pulling him toward the exit. He hesitated, but once he felt my grip, he ran with me. The Watcher lunged, but I managed to evade him and escape into the night. We ran into the alley behind the warehouse. Alex clung to my hand tightly, his small legs struggling to keep pace. I could hear the Watcher pursuing us, his footsteps echoing with sinister intent. My mind raced. How could I outsmart him and ensure our safety? Suddenly, I remembered the flashlight in my bag. I swung it toward him, blinding him temporarily. "Keep running, Alex," I shouted. The sudden burst of light disoriented him long enough for us to duck behind a stack of crates. Hiding for a moment, I took a deep breath and looked at Alex. His eyes were wide with fear, but I whispered, "You're safe, I promise. We're almost out." Then I noticed something startling. The Watcher's coat was torn at the sleeve, revealing a familiar tattoo, a mark I had seen on the neighbor I trusted. Betrayal hit me like a thunderclap. Someone so close, so familiar, had orchestrated this nightmare. I realized his motive wasn't just cruelty. It was envy. He envied my life, my family, my happiness, and in his twisted mind, controlling my son gave him power over me. With a surge of courage, I grabbed Alex and sprinted toward the street where my car was parked. The Watcher was close, but I could feel the adrenaline guiding me, each heartbeat syncing with my determination. We reached the car, jumped in, and sped away into the night. The warehouse and the Watcher faded behind us. I didn't look back. My priority was Alex, his safety, and finally reclaiming our lives. We reached a small, secluded motel a few miles from the city. My hands were shaking as I parked the car, but the sense of temporary safety was a relief. I held Alex close, whispering, "We're safe for now. No one can hurt us here." Inside the room, I barricaded the door and checked every lock. Alex sat on the bed, exhausted but relieved. He looked up at me with wide eyes and asked, "Mom, will he find us?" I shook my head firmly. "No, sweetheart. We're smarter. We've outwitted him so far, and we won't let him win." As I tried to calm him, my mind raced with possibilities. I knew the Watcher could try again. I needed a plan, a way to ensure he could never hurt us. My hands trembled as I made a list of actions. Alert the authorities, strengthen security at home, and gather evidence to prevent him from approaching again. Hours passed and exhaustion finally caught up with us. I watched Alex sleep, feeling both relief and lingering dread. This ordeal had shaken us, but it had also revealed a strength in both of us I hadn't realized before. The night outside was quiet, but I knew it wouldn't stay that way forever. The Watcher was still out there, still obsessed, still dangerous. But for now, we had a moment of peace, a safe haven where we could catch our breath and plan our next move. The next day, I contacted the police and explained everything. The notes, the security footage, the messages from Watcher. They were skeptical at first, but agreed to help set a trap. We couldn't risk another encounter without backup. We decided to lure the Watcher out. I left a note in the spot where I had found the first clues. "You think you can hide, but I know where you are. Come if you dare." It was dangerous, but I had no other choice. My adrenaline surged as I waited, police hidden nearby, watching every shadow. Hours passed. My eyes scanned the streets, every movement setting my heart racing. Then, I saw him, slender, cautious, moving like a predator. The police followed silently, ready to intervene. I could barely breathe. This was the moment of truth. The Watcher reached the spot, picked up the note, and froze. That's when the officer stepped out, surrounding him. Panic flashed across his face. For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. He realized his game was over. The police held him at the edge of the alley. I approached cautiously, my heart pounding. The watcher's eyes darted around, desperate and calculating, but there was no escape this time. Why? I demanded, my voice trembling with a mix of fear and anger. Why target my son? Why terrorize me? For the first time, he looked small, vulnerable, stripped of his arrogance. He spoke slowly, almost whispering. I envied you. Your life, your family, everything you had. I wanted to control it, to feel powerful. And taking him, making you afraid, it gave me that control. Every word cut me to the bone. This was someone I had trusted, a neighbor I had smiled at, laughed with, shared coffee and casual chats, and yet his envy had turned into obsession, threatening the most precious part of my life, my son. I felt a mix of relief and horror. Relief that Alex was safe, horror at how close we had come to losing him. The officers handcuffed him, and he offered no resistance. His game was over. I took Alex's hand, holding him tightly. I whispered, "It's over. You're safe now. I promise." The sun was rising as we returned home, Alex and I. The streets looked peaceful, almost ordinary, but we knew what had happened would stay with us forever. The watcher was in custody, and the authorities assured us he could no longer harm us. Inside our home, everything looked the same, yet I felt different. Every corner, every shadow that once brought fear, now reminded me of our resilience. I reinforced our security system, changed every lock, and created a safe space for Alex, where he could feel truly protected. He hugged me tightly. "Mom, I knew you'd find me." Tears welled in my eyes. "I'll always find you. Always." Though the ordeal had left scars, it also left a newfound strength. I had faced the unimaginable, navigated fear, and protected my child against all odds. I realized that even when someone threatens to steal what you love most, courage and determination can prevail. As we settled in for the evening, I knew we were safe, at least for now. But I also knew that vigilance was necessary. Life had changed forever, yet I would never let fear control me. Alex and I were together, and that was enough to face whatever came next. The shadows of that night lingered in memory, but they no longer held power over us. We had survived, and we would continue to live boldly, protected by courage, love, and the unbreakable bond between mother and child.